Hello everybody, today we will be doing our first lesson of the unit, which is going to be over adding integers. Our learning target is I can add integers. So what are integers? Integers are whole numbers and their opposites. And so some examples of real world positive and negative integers are withdrawing money from a bank account. You could see your bank account going down with that would be represented as a negative number. The stock market, you will see it rise and fall percentages. It would be plus 2.5% one day and minus 1.75% another day. And temperature, negative 15 degrees outside, super cold, but that is a example of a negative integer in the real world. So we are going to quickly show how to add integers using a number line, and then we're going to move away from using a number line, and hopefully we can just pick up the rules on how to do it separately. So to add a positive integer on a number line, you go to the right, which means to add a negative integer, you go left. So this first problem here, 2 plus 9, I really hope you all know it's 11, but let's see how you do it on a number line. So 2 is your first number, that's where you start, and we are adding a positive integer, so we need to go right 9 times. And if we go right 9 times, that gets us here to 11. So the number line would show us that 2 plus 9 is 11. Same thing occurs on this next one. We would start at negative 3, and then we add negative 6. So we're adding a negative integer, so we'd go left 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here at negative 9. So that would be negative 9. 7 plus negative 10, we start at 7, and then we go backwards to the left 10 times, which will get you here to negative 3. And negative 1 plus 6, start at negative 1, go to the right 6, that gets you here to 5. So that is how you could do it with a number line, but hopefully we can see something that's happening here. 2 plus 9, these are both positive numbers, so we just combine them, and we got a positive 11. Negative 3 plus negative 6, these also have the same sign. They're both negative numbers, so 3 and 6 make 9, and they were both negative, so it was a negative 9. So these had the same sign, so we simply added them and kept the sign. These two had different signs, a positive 7 and a negative 10. And we got a 3. So if you think 10 minus 7, that is 3. And the 10 is the higher number, which we would really think of it as the number further from 0. So really you could just subtract it and keep the sign of the number that is further from 0. Same thing on this last one, different signs, 6 and 1. If you subtract those, you get 5. And then keep the sign of the higher number, the 6 was positive. And we're going to get more practice with that here in a moment. Some key vocab terms, opposites, numbers that are the same distance from 0. So that would be like 5 and negative 5. Those are opposites because they are the same distance from 0. The next vocab term is called absolute value. This is the distance from 0. This is going to be a really key vocab term that we're going to hit a lot. So the symbol that we use to show absolute value are these two kind of, some people think of them as railroad tracks. So there's these two long, tall, parallel lines, and then you'll have a number in the middle, so like a 6. The absolute value of 6 is 6, because 6 is 6 spaces from 0. We could also do the absolute value of negative 7, and that would be 7. Because negative 7 is still 7 spots from 0. So one key thing to recognize here is it is always positive. An expression, there are two different kinds of expressions. You have an algebraic and a numeric expression. A numeric expression would simply look like this, like negative 3 plus 7. Expression just means that you have 2 or more numbers with at least one operation. And an algebraic expression would be like a plus b. Same concept, except for you're using letters. The last one is evaluate. That means to kind of like find the final answer, actually do the math. So that negative 3 plus 7 These have different signs, so we would subtract them and get 4 and keep the sign of the higher number, so it would be positive 4. So evaluating, we'd get that answer. It also could look like if I gave you a letter and told you that the letter was -3, let's say. So then to evaluate this, you would take the -3 and plug it in where the A was. Oops, I do not want another A here. So then it'd be -3 plus 7, and you get 4. So evaluate could look like both of these. Maybe you have to take a number and plug it in to solve it, or it might already give you the entire problem and you just have to simplify it. So those are some important vocab terms. Next up is our adding integers. We're going to continue adding integers without the number lines, and there is a handy dandy song that we have. So these rules will be helpful for your entire mathematics career. If they have the same signs, add the two numbers. And if they have different signs, subtract them. Keep the sign of the higher number, then you'll be exact. What that means by higher number is it's actually referring to the higher absolute value. So essentially what you're thinking is you always keep the sign of whatever number is further from 0. That will help you determine if it's going to be a positive answer or a negative answer. So 3 plus 8, it's 11. We don't need to work through that one at all. -2 plus -12. These have same signs. They are both negatives. We can see that -2, -12. So same signs, add the two. 2 plus 12 is 14. And then it says keep the sign of the higher number. Well, 12 is higher than 2. It has a higher absolute value, so it's negative. Next one, -9 plus -7. Again, these are the same signs. We have a negative and a negative, so we need to add them and get a 16 and keep the sign of the number further from 0. 9 is further from 0, so it is a negative. And last one, -6 plus -6. Again, same signs, add them. These are both the same distance from 0, so it's just going to be -12. So now let's look at some problems where they have different signs. We have a 4 plus a -5. Like we said up here, different signs means we need to subtract. So we have a 4, and I like to highlight the number and the sign in front of it usually, just to make sure that I'm looking at it correctly. 4 plus a -5, those are different signs. You got to subtract them. 5 minus 4 is 1. And keep the sign of the higher number. 5 is further than 4 from 0, so it would need to be a negative. The key thing to note here is we're not saying bigger number. -5 is certainly not bigger than 4. Negative numbers are always smaller than positive numbers. So we want the higher one, just the one that's further from 0. You can kind of think of it as if we have a positive 4, that means we have 4 pluses. And if it's a -5, that means we have 5 negatives. And so these would cancel out, these would cancel out, these would cancel out, these would cancel out. And I would be left with one negative left, i.e. we have a -1 as an answer. -8 plus 3, again, it looks like we have two different signs here. We have a negative and a positive. Again, highlight the number and the sign in front of it. Different signs subtract, so 8 minus 3 is 5, and 8 is further from 0, so it'd be a negative. I want you guys to go ahead and pause the video, take these rules that we've learned, and find out the rest of them. Alrighty, 13 plus -1, that is 12. Because they have different signs, you subtract them. -7 plus 16, that will be a positive 9. 132 plus -27, that would be roughly 95, I believe. Let's see, 27, subtract that. It's going to be a 12. That's going to be a 2, 5, 0, 105. Mr. Chell's math is slightly off today. 105, not 95, 105. -4 plus 4, that's a 0. Those are opposites. Opposites cancel each other out. 8 plus -43. This will be a -35 because the 43 is the one further from 0. It's got to be a negative. And this last one, 13 plus -2 is 11 plus 4 plus the -7. 11 plus 4 is 15 plus -7 is positive 8. This last part that we're going to do here is the evaluating expressions. So you need to plug in the value. So it says C plus 4 for C is -8. So we're going to take that -8 and just get rid of the C. So really it's -8 plus 4. These have different signs now, so I need to subtract them and keep the sign of the higher number. That will be a -4. Same thing here again. Now one thing that is really key to point out, when you are substituting a value in, and it is not the first thing. So like this past one, it was the first item, it didn't matter. This one is not the first item. There's another symbol already in front of the X. So we need to be very careful to make sure that we take everything that was not the X and just bring it straight down into the problem and only replace the letter. Only replace the letter. So we'll get rid of the X and we'll put in parentheses a -4 here. So -3 plus -4, that is -7. Lastly, we got a -9 plus 12. Sorry about that. -9 plus 12, because we got to take the -9, plug it on in. -9 plus 12 is 3. And that is going to do it for the first set of notes for the school year, adding integers. If you guys have any questions, please let me know.